I'm here today in sunny San Carlos, Sonora, at my listing in the Caracol Peninsula to talk about the differences between purchasing property in Mexico, specifically in San Carlos, versus in the United States. Before we dive into the details, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Kelly Ramirez. I am a licensed real estate professional in Arizona and Sonora. I have 25 years of experience helping people buy and sell real estate in the US and 3 years of experience in San Carlos. A house is typically the largest investments of my clients' lifetimes. As a real estate professional, I do not take that responsibility lightly, and neither should you. In the US, buying property is often a straightforward process. You work with a real estate agent, you get approved for a mortgage, you make an offer, you go through the process until closing, you show up, sign the paperwork. While that process might feel familiar, things work a bit differently here in Mexico. The first major difference, foreign ownership. This is the question that everyone wants to know. In the US, anyone can own property outright, but in Mexico, if you're not a Mexican citizen, you'll need to use a bank trust called a fideicomiso to purchase a property if it's within 50 kilometers of the coastline, like here in San Carlos. It is a legal and safe way to hold the property, and you maintain full rights, including the ability to sell, inherit, and improve the land. You can watch Jason's video on our channel for more information about fideicomisos. And if you decide to work with us, we help facilitate that process at no additional cost. Another difference is the closing process. In the US, escrow and title companies handle most of the paperwork. But in Mexico, it's the notario público who plays a key role. This person ensures the transaction is legally binding by verifying the identity of the parties involved and finalizing the transfer of property. It's important to note that this is not the same thing as a public notary that we are familiar with in the United States that notarizes signatures. You can also expect higher closing costs in Mexico, including a 2% transfer tax paid by the buyer. Concessions are not a thing here in Mexico, so it's not typical to ask sellers to pay buyers' closing costs. You can expect a total of 4 to 6% in closing costs to be paid on average, including notary fees. Properties in Mexico are also sold as is. You are entitled to an inspection period for a chance to discover any defects or major concerns. I would recommend a professional home inspection to find out what as is really is. The sellers do not typically make any repairs. Due to possible complications with transferring deeds, please work with a licensed and vetted real estate professional to guide you. Ask that they only show you properties that they can guarantee you a clean and clear title. Financing is another area where Mexico stands apart. Many property purchases here are made in cash, though financing options are becoming more common. In the US, mortgages are widely available, but in Mexico, they're not as easy to come by, especially for foreign buyers. However, you might be able to finance through US lenders or even use seller financing, but be prepared for interest rates in the double digits. Lastly, property taxes and everyday living expenses tend to be much lower here in Mexico compared to the US. It's one of the many perks of owning in San Carlos, a place that offers beautiful views and a relaxing lifestyle at a fraction of the cost you might expect. So while the process of buying property in Mexico is different, it's absolutely worth it. And with the right guidance, it can be a smooth and rewarding experience. If you're interested in learning more, or perhaps you'd like to check out this fabulous home we're at today, feel free to reach out to us at Vive Real Estate. And I'm here to help you navigate the process every step of the way.